We have success. I want to tell you all about the amazing experience we had at the school on Tuesday. I was almost in tears. Keep watching to see what happened. Benedictions para todos ustedes and blessings to you all. Welcome back to my channel. I realize I'm a horrible YouTuber. I never introduced myself. My name is Hagenaars, and I moved my family of 3 children and my husband from Canada to El Salvador in August 2024. So a little history here. School starts on January 20th, which is Monday. Today is actually Friday, and we still don't have our apostilled report cards yet from Canada, which is required to get them into public school. But we found out we don't actually need to have them until February 28th, so it gives us a little bit of leeway. When we moved to this complex, Lawrence and Annika made friends with a set of 16-year-old twin boys in the street next to us. We spent Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve with that family. If you want to go back and watch those videos, I'll put the links in the cards above. And back in December, I asked one of the twins about the school that he went to and if it was a good school. And he said it was a really good school. So I asked him if he had the contact information so I could reach out to the principal. Within minutes, he had already sent me the WhatsApp contact information for the principal. So I texted the principal that night. I told him about my family, that we moved from Canada. My kids don't speak any Spanish at all. And I asked if they would be able to go to that school. And he had said yes. And then he gave me the steps to follow to get my kids registered with the public school system. And if you didn't see that video of all the issues I had registering them, I'll also post that card above as well. So because we had those issues, I decided I would just reach out to the principal and just go visit the school and meet him in person and ask him what we can do. Also, some of you guys on there, actually was a principal in another school in San Salvador, was telling me that we didn't need those papers done until the end of February. So that was great advice. So it gave me all the confidence to go meet with that principal directly, tell him about our situation, and ask if we could have this kids start school on January 20th with all of their peers. So of course I brought my friend Stan along to do all the translation for us. And when we walked into the schoolyard, the vice principal met us, and she kind of had a little she was a bit leery when he told her that I have 3 English-only speaking children here that want to start school. She made some comment in Spanish. I understood it. She said they would do very poorly in school, except in English class. But she took us to go see the principal anyway, which was great. We went into his office, we sat down, and Stan and the principal had a very long conversation, maybe 15, 20 minutes. And then Stan had turned to us to tell us what the principal had said. And while he was talking to us, the principal was on his phone texting people, something, I don't know, I didn't know what was happening, until all of a sudden there's all these knocks on his door, and someone would knock and they come in, they just stand there, and another person knocked and they came in and stood there. And before I knew it, there were 8 teachers in the room with us. And he introduced them saying that these are the morning teachers. So Annika and Lawrence will be there in the morning, so these were their teachers. Stan told me that just before the teachers were introduced to us, the principal told the teachers one key thing. He said, "This will be a challenge because these children only speak English. It is just like when we had a blind girl and we had to learn how to teach her. And some of the teachers at that time even learned how to read Braille in order to be able to teach that blind girl." And he told us this after we get home, and I was really touched by that he was kind of challenging the teachers to learn how they could teach my English-speaking children to learn in Spanish and really immerse into the school system. And they all introduced themselves and they said what subject they were teaching. And honestly, I felt a little bit like royalty. I was not expecting that at all, and I had tears in my eyes. And I asked if I could film, but he said, "Oh, there'd be more time to film later." So I respected that, but it was such a beautiful moment. So I never had this kind of warm reception like this in Canada. Even when we went to new schools, like when Annika went to the Catholic school last year, there was nothing special. I think I just called them to register her because Lawrence had already been there, and I think she came home with a paper for me to fill out the first day or something, or maybe we did it over email. It was quite impersonal. This was very special, and this is why we are living in this country, because of the people of El Salvador. They are amazing people, and I totally have all respect for them. And then Stan told them that Lawrence has autism, and they all looked at each other and they were like, "Oh, it doesn't look like he has autism. He doesn't look autistic." And he tried to tell them that it's because we're such great parents. We taught Lawrence how to behave in public as normal as possible. And really, a lot of that has to do with the programming that Lawrence had been through in Ontario for autistic children. Ontario is the best province in Canada if you have an autistic child, because there are so many programs. We had IBI, ABA, therapy of horseback riding, tumbling together, which was a toddler's gymnastic program. We did, after IBI, there was another program for another 6 months while he was still in school. And we just did so much. I mean, there was camp for autistic kids during the summertime. If you want to go back and see a video I made about Lawrence and all the programs we had in Ontario, I'll link that card above here too. So once all the introductions were done, all the teachers left, the principal took us to the secretary's office and she took their birth certificates. Now remember, I don't have their long form birth certificates anymore because the immigration office kept those originals. I only have the short one that looks like a card you put in your wallet. So I had those with me. She photocopied all that. She photocopied all the kids' temporary residency cards. She photocopied my temporary residency card. And we then walked over to another building where we met up with the driver who would be taking them to school. And I'd already contacted him and he made some comment about, are they already registered? And I'm like, well, not yet. I'm hoping to do it today. He said, well, let's talk after they're registered. I had no idea he was going to be at the school. And I think he drives a little van because we saw that in the parking lot when we left. Anyway, so that's 50 cents per child each way. So like $1 a day, basically. He says $22.50 per child per month. And he'll come pick Annika and Lawrence start at 7:20 in the morning. So he's going to pick them up at 6:50. And then he comes to pick Willem up because this starts at 12:30, I think. He's going to pick him up at 11:45. So when he drops Willem off at school, then he could pick Lawrence and Annika up and bring them home. And then Willem doesn't come home. His class is not done until 5:40. So it's going to be late for him, but he doesn't start till noon, which I think he'll really appreciate because he likes to sleep in. They also told us that we need to have backpacks and 3 notebooks and maybe pens and pencils. I think they actually provide those too. But Kelly did a speech the other day where he was talking about paying for the water and the electric bill for Salvadorians in January. And during that speech, he talked a bit about what they've done for the schools. The kids will be getting one free uniform and a pair of shoes as well. I believe they may also have pens and pencils. I'm not sure what the deal is there. But those things are provided because the government gives the schools money for those programs. They also provide them with tablets when they first start off in school. And I think it's when they hit grade 4 that they then move on to a laptop. And then after so many years, they replace that laptop. And then by the time they get to grade 12, they're taking the laptop home with them to start work with. So we walked around the schoolyard a little bit. It's not really ready yet because school doesn't start till Monday, so the grass wasn't mowed yet and different things were still being done. Now, one thing he told us that was kind of a little bit worrying, I guess, if you could say that. When we pulled up to the school, it's right on the highway. It's actually right beside a military base. And there was only a little tiny bit of parking, and it was rough looking as it was. And he said that parking lot's going to be taken away because when the highway that we're on gets widened, their parking lot's gone. It'll just be like a sidewalk in front of the school. So they're going to have to cut into their property to add the parking. He kind of mentioned that since Bukele came in, they used to get $12,000 a year from the government for the school each year, and now it's only $3,000. So there are some cuts in some ways. I'm not sure about all the politics here. Like I said, there's certain things like computers and uniforms and stuff covered by the government, but then other things like this other money, they're not going to get anymore. So I'm trying to think of how we can maybe do some fundraising for them. I think what I heard from Stam was that they did ask the parents about it, and they raised something like $400, which is not going to be much to add a parking lot. So I'm hoping I can use my channel and you, my lovely subscribers, to help raise a little bit of money for them to see if we can get that parking lot project looked after for the school. And if we're able to do some fundraising, maybe we can help out other schools or other people, other programs here in El Salvador, whether it's the orphans or when the orphans leave. There's another program, Sucios. When the orphans leave the orphanage, Kurt has a diner called States Diner that they're using to give job training and jobs to these kids, which is something like we want to do too. Once we can buy our business, once we sell our business in Canada, we can start all that. We're kind of in a holding pattern right now until that happens. The principal told us a story about a teacher who was up on a skylight cleaning because they weren't able to afford a maintenance person. And while he was cleaning it, he fell through the glass, it broke, and he died. And this was a teacher. So the school that was near, I don't know, it's in the war days, but it's near us, lost a teacher because they couldn't afford a maintenance person. There are some improvements that could be made here. And I'm hoping that we can help make that happen. I'll keep you all posted with my fundraising efforts for the school. I need to talk to the principal more. I need to get a better idea if he has a cost and different things about that so we can kind of have a goal. And, I have over 3,000 subscribers on this channel, and 95% of my viewers are not actually subscribers. So even if everyone donated $2 for the 3,000 subscribers, we could have $6,000 to help them, finish the parking lot area to make it a little safer to get kids in and out of school, because this is where my kids will be dropped off. This is where everyone's kids are going to be dropped off and picked up right along a very busy highway. And we want to try to help as much as we can to make it as safe as possible for the kids to go to school. So for all my amazing followers here, I hope that this has helped you understand a little bit more about how the public school system works in El Salvador, as well as the knowledge that if you move to El Salvador, things aren't going to be the same as your home country, but things are doable. They just might take a little bit more time or effort. And if you move to El Salvador, these are the things that you can do to get your children immersed fully into the Spanish language and the culture of Salvadorians. And if you like this content, please subscribe, hit the like button, and the bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. If you want to support this channel, you can hit the join button. We have the channel helper, which is $1.49 a month, or the channel supporter, which is $3.99 a month. And we're hoping we can use these funds to do better things for the kids, especially around El Salvador. My heart goes out to the kids, and maybe we can even use this money to help with the parking lot project. So I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll be talking to you soon. Buenas tardes.
Don't forget to hit the like button.